Alright, Oliver, here we are into episode 10. We're going to go ahead and launch this comm tower. And by now you understand how to get up to orbit efficiently, so we're just going to go really fast. I sped the footage up to 1400 times the speed. And we're just going to get this thing in orbit, and then we will get it out to the moon and land it. So as always, you burn at your highest point when you're trying to get up into orbit. Make sure that both your periapsis and your apoapsis are up and out of the atmosphere above 70,000 meters or 70 kilometers. We're going to go ahead and ditch the second stage to get rid of it, because we don't want space junk forever contaminating our operational area of low Kerbin orbit. Now we've got this odd looking communications tower with a rocket attached to it. So as always, to get to the moon, it's easy if you just position the moon at the top at 12 o'clock, and then you want to burn in the prograde position on the opposite side to raise your apoapsis to the left, as the moon is orbiting counterclockwise in this condition, or in this case. Well, for most of the videos, it's orbiting counterclockwise. Clarify, if you're looking down at planet Kerbin from the North Pole, the moon is always orbiting counterclockwise. You don't need a maneuver node every time. After you do this probably 10-20 times, you get good at just estimating where to get it, and you just fast forward and set your rocket prograde and just hit the, or not the space bar, you just hit the throttle and burn until you get up close. So here we are without a maneuver node. You can see that once I get close, I'm going to just kill the motor and then use shift very gently to manipulate the orbit or the trajectory so that we can get in nice and tight to the moon. And we've got a nice equatorial trajectory, so we don't need to alter that at all. And we just come in close to our periapsis, reorient ourselves, and we will conduct a burn to circularize our orbit. We got a nice low lunar orbit, about 24 kilometers. We're going to save it because you never know. It's a good thing to save prior to trying a lunar landing, because you tend to mess those up every once in a while. And rather than start all the way over at the Kerbin launch, you can just load the saved game and start closer to where you were. So what I'm going to do is speed up time and get kind of close. And the initial burn, we're going to cut it off before the teal line gets to our target. We're gonna shoot for it to be long. And because it's a drone, we need communications with Earth, so we need the lunar station to be positioned in a location where it can relay our communications. And there we are, we're aiming a little bit long, then we fast forward to get down closer. Trying to pan around so you can get a better view. And we're going to burn again to slow our rate of descent. We always want to stay controlled. We still have 700 meters a second of delta V, which is way more than we need. So as we come right over top, I'm going to conduct a burn to bring us pretty much to a stop directly overhead. Since we've got wheels on this thing, we can drive it around the lunar surface. We don't have to land very close to our lunar base. We can still get it to where it needs to go. You can see I'm burning here. And I'm going to do one final burn to slow down to about 0. Maybe get a little bit upwards velocity, and then I'm going to jettison that fuel tank as we want to use the RCS. So we jettison, and then I make that drone probe core the primary control point, but as you can see, it's a little bit screwed up, and so here I am struggling to get things in order, realizing I'm going way too fast. And we're gonna hit the moon going pretty quick, but for some reason we managed to survive. I'm just trying to stop it at this point. Now I could go back and do a nice soft landing for you, but it's very curable to crash and burn. So I want to make sure that you know that I don't get it right 100% of the time. So I'm just getting things in control. We're going to treat this like a rover and roll right on over to close to our final destination. We don't have any Kerbin astronauts on the ground to set up the docking port mount for this thing to connect to. So we're going to put it, and since we can't, for some reason, the developers of KSP have not given you a button to put your rovers in park. So I'm going to find a spot in the lunar surface, like a little valley, where I can just stop it there, and because of the terrain, it'll kind of keep it in that position until I can get our Kerbin astronauts down to do the final installation. You can see right there's a good spot. It's just going to roll right back and forth until it comes to a stop in that little valley there. And we're going to go ahead and leave it here and let the valley stop it and keep it immobile. So we'll see you in the next episode.